You are looking live in the basement.
So you checking it?
We gotta have our official checker outer. What's up, guys? How you doing tonight?
Verification.
Hope you're watching the All-Star game while also watching First Amendment Sports,
Because we are
because we are.
behind you.
You don't see that part, though.
Talk a little WCAC tonight. Let's go. Let's see if we can't get ourselves.
I submitted a survey on our.
Yes, you did.
Wait, so you voted on
our ad.
something?
I did. I voted for.
What did you vote
What
for?
did
You
you
don't leave me in
vote
for?
suspense.
I forgot.
Tell us what you voted for.
That's my personal. It's my personal business. Whatever. I voted
That's
for.
actually that's true. Our whole system relies on the
You
privacy of
check
the
off
booth.
Ken's the dreamiest.
Well, it was something involving.
Always the first question in the poll.
All right, let's see if we can't get ourselves.
Now it was who is completely
Because
overdressed.
Ken does the polls.
It was completely
He posts
overdressed.
them.
I think I've made it
No,
clear
that was
from the
our
beginning.
ad.
Don't do the polls. All right, here we go.
Oh, I didn't do the poll.
Don't do the polls.
By the way, Super 70 Sports.
It's a great follow.
We're gonna.
Fantastic. Follow.
If I ever just get a chance to always just say thank you for just
Yeah.
being funny and
Rex
awesome.
Chapman's right up there with him.
Absolutely.
The two of them are up there. I'm taking Super 70s as my number one favorite
Yeah.
Twitter
Yeah.
follow.
He's a little bit more diverse.
Yeah, and that hits
than
like
Rex.
our WCAC audience the hardest. I mean, we're going to do better and better with the current students, and as their teams are on the field and playing, they'll check us out. But we're so thankful for the admins and the teachers and the alumni and all our friends and people who are from the conference who watch us. You will get the humor on Super 70 Sports. If you're not following them, it's a little bit, they use a bad word here and there, but I'm telling you, it is.
Yeah, as a conference, we'll pray for him.
Yeah,
But,
we're gonna
you just keep on entertaining, buddy.
hope that they see the error of his ways later in life. It's funny. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go. We're going to go with an old May 7th WCAC. Let's do it.
Playlist.
Ooh, that's a good one. All right. Thank you so very much for joining us on yet another Tuesday night, live from First Amendment Sports Podcast Basement Studios in the heart of Kensington, Maryland. I'm Ken Marangolo. He's Tim Strachan.
Hey guys, what's going on? Thanks for joining us again on another Tuesday night. Each week I can smell it more and more. Football's closer, man. It's getting awesome. Everybody's starting to talk about it.
He's Kevin Ricka, possibly another source of the smell you're referring
I'm
to.
not sniffing anything in this basement.
All right, fair
but I
enough.
will tell you this. As soon as those fireworks are done, you can smell that aftermath. The next thing you think about is football season. I mean,
go.
it's like those summer holidays get all combobulated. All of a sudden, after 4th of July, before Labor Day, what do we got? A whole lot of something.
He's Matt Seal on most usual suspect lists when smells are involved.
I just think of the barbecue. You hit the barbecue in the summertime and into the fall of the tailgate when you kick the football season off.
Yeah.
So I can't wait. It's
Ta-
gonna be great.
and that's it. We tailgate every Tuesday night. I like to think, anyways. It's my favorite thing to do in life. It's definitely sports centric, and it's grown outside of sports. We'll throw the party whenever we have the opportunity to throw the party, and wherever anyone will have us to throw a party. But when football season starts, that's a whole different kind of party. Before and during and after football games at the pro, college, and high school levels, it's a whole different ball game for us as football lovers. And in the WCAC, there's no better example of the game of football at this level in the entire nation. We've been talking about the places we'll be, and I think tonight, last week we went through the schedule. And we're gonna drop a schedule. We're gonna do a schedule release party. We do have our fall for the most part finalized. We are starting in August, as we said last week, at St. John's for 2 out-of-state games, one of which is against a national top 25 team from Florida.
Both teams from Miami, South Ridge, week 1, and Deerfield Beach, week 2. That's going to be very interesting. They've got some ballers.
And we will finish the season
Interesting.
at Catholic University, same as last year, the WCAC final. We absolutely, let me just answer a question everyone has on the tip of their tongues when I talk to them, and I know our main man, Doc Walker, the thought occurred to him as well, because it naturally occurs to everyone, and I just want to settle settle it here. I hope you guys will allow me to speak for the team when I say, oh, yes, we do expect to get the same kind of game when we show up to a WCAC football game, whether it's in August or November. I'm sick of people saying you're never going to get a game like that Gonzaga-DeMatha game ever again. Well, first of all, it wasn't given to us. It was given to all of us. It was given to everybody. We were just part of the ride. Hats off to those guys. But, oh, yeah, when we show up at a WCAC football game where both teams are ranked in the top 25 in this entire country, you better believe we expect to see one of the best games you're going to see that entire day, that entire week, that entire month, all year long. Yes, we do expect to get that game again.
If this was a recipe, we got the same ingredients. And I can say right now, T and I are sitting here. The last 2 times St. John's and DeMatha played for a title were 2 of the craziest games of all time. I mean,
Yes, they were.
2 years ago, that kickoff went up into the wind and knocked around for a second. A quarterback goes out, a pitch here. There was no way that game was going to end the way it did. And
What
it
was
did.
it, like 15 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that, where Good Counsel had the phantom pitch on the option that all they had to do was knock it in and put the game away. And I mean, there has been crazy moments that I hope we cover, over the course of time and bring these moments up, because there have been crazy games in this. That wasn't an anomaly.
No, they're coming.
And they happened away from us, too, in all sports, not just football. They happened in basketball, too, where we weren't there to document and capture that. More than our ability to call the game and put something in front of folks who can't make it to the game. That's step one, right? That's one of the biggest and most important things. Parents, teachers, friends, fans. But at the end of the day, what I like to think of us as just one of the coolest documentary companies in the world, because we are preserving what is hands down and inarguably proof, tangible evidence that there's no better high school sports conference in the land than WCAC. We say those words, and now we're collecting the evidence. We're like detectives.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, you're more
I'm
like
just a fanatic of football, and it's
secret
great
agent.
football.
You're not a detective?
He's the detective.
I thought you were a detective
Then why
this
are we
whole
getting,
time.
Why are we getting
Jeff
these
Clay
bodies
is the
ready?
detective.
I'm
Yeah,
the
that's true.
inspector. Jeff
Jeff
is our
Clay is the
detective.
detective.
Resident detective. The question is, who's
So,
going to make
Jeff-
the play this year? What team's going to be there, and who's going to make the play?
Well, I think the point is it can come from anybody at any time, and it came from 2 schools in the same game. And at the end of the day, if you just took a couple highlights from Riken, St. Mary's Riken's game over O'Connell, they did some pretty fun, awesome things.
Playmakers there too.
I understand the game wasn't very competitive, but the triple reverse pitch,
Yeah.
that was fun. I mean, that's and
The
you know
triple Indy.
Triple
man.
Indy.
triple
Yeah.
Indy. We called it the
Yeah.
triple Indy. I mean, it was fun and it required skill and talent, and that was awesome.
And
so,
serious execution. About 13 people touched the rock on that play,
Yep.
and it wound up in the end zone.
By the way, I hope I'm allowed to say this, because Charles Woolwich called me the other day. We had a nice long talk. St. Mary's Riken's going to have a couple of big scrimmages against, I believe, Gonzaga and DeMatha? Or, no, Good Counsel and DeMatha. I don't think it's St. John's. But they're gonna-
preseason.
Yeah. Love
That's
to go
awesome.
out there and check it out. And, the defending champions of their league. And, they're really working hard, man. I follow their Twitter. They've got a lot of great things going on down there in the Hawaii of the WCAC.
In the
too. So,
Hawaii.
Yep. I'm
gonna be driving by there I'll be driving by there. I'll be driving right by the gates on my way to Leonardtown for something this weekend, and
Stop by for
I-
a
I-
love.
I'll
down
be
there.
wearing my leg.
Gotta wear your leg.
absolutely. We started at St. John's. We talk a lot about the players. I wanted to spend, and I want to kind of give all the teams where we're going to be at their place this year, give them a little bit of shine on tonight's show, and use that as another journey through, our schedule without kind of going week to week like we did last week. We're going to talk about St. John's players. There's a lot of them. Turns out they're pretty good. But I wanted to say I love the St. John's coaching staff, and I just
Watch out, St. John's.
I don't want
coaching
to.
staff.
I don't want to let a show
word,
go
Mike,
by
yeah.
without paying some respects to Coach
You've been
Kaz and
warned.
the Ward brothers, Mike and Pat, and of course Coach Rick. I just think it's a cool staff, and they should get a little shine because for this reason alone, not on stuff they've already done, and they don't want to stand on that either. It takes a special kind of group of coaches, no matter who they're marching off the bus, to sign up to the schedule that they signed up to this year.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. So I tip my hat
undeniable.
to the brass ones that go along with those men and their fearless leader Griff, who is also a great guy that we love.
Shout out.
God, that's awesome. That's awesome. It helps the whole league by them doing it, and it's going to be super fun to watch. And this guy's turning scarlet out of just pride. It's awesome.
Yeah,
it's just awesome.
I've just been watching you. I've been having a fun time watching you go at it. And,
You're geeked up
and
tonight,
I'm going to tell you
I'm
this.
ready. Ready to kick off tonight.
I was lucky enough to sit in the war room down there when they were going through this schedule in the off season. You know, I'd stop in from time to time. I've only known those guys for like a combined 190 years. Now that we're all so old, and you know, my dad being a part of it, it's been a lot of fun to just watch how they did it and just sitting there, and they were just attacking on the whiteboard the best possible teams they can come up with. They're like, Kevin, do you think there's any better teams than these teams? I was like, I know there's not, unless we're getting like an all-time team to come back and play at some point.
Alabama,
like a Madden Dream League team.
Yeah.
But it's so cool to want to play the toughest high school. Their goal to play the toughest high school football schedule in the history of the sport. I do believe with these recent rankings that have come out, they've achieved that dream. Listen, Brian Griffin spearheaded this charge. You got Pat Ward manning the phones, Coach Kaz. They're all sitting there just chuckling about who can get the better game. I mean, how cool is that in high school football to sit there and be like, all right, who can we play? Like, let's get the best. And right now, they're playing the number 1, 4, and 5. Then 9, 15, 21, 25. Yep. I mean, it does not get better. I don't know if you can come up with a better schedule in the future unless there's just, some ridiculous occurrence, but they're going to keep trying. And you've noticed that a lot of other schools in the WCAC, I'm not saying because of that, but I'm saying you've seen a big step up recent years. It has to do with the football climate. Not a lot of teams want to reach out and play a St. John's or a Gonzaga, historical matchups that aren't going to happen much longer due to some programs going one way and some programs going another. It's just the nature of the beast. It all happens in circles. Yeah. But right now, in this half circle we got right here, what we've got lined up to do and getting ready to start the year at St. John's, it's a historical season nationwide in the sport.
I like to think that Pat Ward is on the phone with like a cord phone, not like a wire, not like a cell phone or a wireless phone, like a old
the old Redskins one,
like in the '90s phone,
rotary,
and he's
rotary.
And he's laying down, and he's doing, and Mike is working because he has those things that because he's a trainer.
Turntables?
The
turntables?
The massagers, the leg massagers.
Okay, wait a minute now.
And Mike's working it out. He's like,
these are
our
friends.
John staff.
These are our friends.
Watch out.
I know. Mike.
Are you saying
He's
my
keeping
dad
it
has a
loose.
tight hammy?
No, I'm saying he doesn't, and it's all because of Mike Ward. Is what I'm saying. Kudos, congratulations, guys. That's awesome. We look forward to being part of a very small part of your awesome year.
Yeah, and Coach Kaz, he's been around the block. He's done this a long time. He's been down to the basement. And for the head coach to sit there just chuckling at these guys trying to come up with a schedule like that, that's what it is. They do believe that iron sharpens iron, and this is what they believe is going to get the job done. And I can't argue with them, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds. And
Let's hop over to what used to be the Wheaton stronghold. Now it's the only stronghold of Good Counsel. We have for all intents and purposes locked down what we think is going to be a great game between Good Counsel and Gonzaga, I believe. Where will that game be played?
At Good Counsel.
Well, that's why we had to
at
ask.
Good Counsel.
Friday the night.
Well, no, but I'm saying
they
play all their
Steve
games.
House.
Did they play any of their games at Catholic?
No.
That was just the ESPN
They have
game
a
last
gorgeous
year.
facility that we can't wait to go and visit.
Well,
that was the St. John's home game.
That was the St. John's home game.
Moved because ESPN wanted the night atmosphere.
I lost track of who was the home and who was the away team on that night.
And the WCAC graciously awarded them that, and they changed the home game at St. John's to Good Counsel. No one had a problem with it. It was quite an event.
Great first half, by the way.
It looked amazing. It looked amazing. The replay on TV. It was a great high school football game, and it looked it. But it did not look like
that's when Good Counsel
high school
got
football
banged
players.
up. Remember, that's when they
lost their quarterback that night.
They lost their quarterback. They had a couple
of guys get
hurt.
Yep.
And,
man, it looked like
really
one of those
hurt
core
them
injuries too.
In the tail end of the season, man. That was a tough game, man.
Yeah,
that was a hard played game.
Hats off to my boy Latrell. But I wanted to welcome back to the basement in the very near future, Coach Stefanelli, who's been super gracious and cool to deal with for us. He's been in the basement already once before, and I mostly want to say thanks to Coach for wanting to come back. Because he was like, hey, Does this mean we get to come? And I was like, oh, come on.
Well, we had a great night, but him wanting to come back, especially after the two of you talked in here for like the last 15 minutes of the night, we all were outside. We were a little bit nervous, and look what happened. You nailed it.
Yeah.
And guess what? He's been one of our biggest fans, and vice versa. What a cool guy to just get to meet. That's been the coolest part, to meet all these guys, to get them down here in the basement. We call it the grassroots level. I mean, and that's what it is. And it's just a bunch of guys that love the game.
Yep.
We've all been lucky enough to be around it our whole entire lives. And we all get along very well, I think, for that specific reason. We all understand what the deal is. It's all about the kids. We're here to put a shine on them. They're here to coach them up, get them to turn them into better men, more so than better football players.
A good week in that regard for Good Counsel's team. A couple of young men
Great
on their
young
way
men.
to becoming very good young men.
2 young men that were best friends in 6th grade all the way through, went to Good Counsel together, have been teammates all through life, are now going to be on opposite sides of one of the most unbelievable rivalries in sport. With Chris Jenkins, you said it, T.
Chris, what are you doing, man? Let your son go to Michigan? What's going on?
Hey, well, let's applaud that decision by the young Chris Jenkins.
The son. This is about the
give
father.
His dad a hard time, but hey, Michigan. What a great place to go play football. I mean, holy moly, but that's Chris Jenkins' choice.
Awesome,
and they both
Chris.
announced on the same day that Mitchell Melton is going to play at Ohio State.
Oh.
How about these two? Going at it, I mean, best friend teammates on opposite sides of that rivalry. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that.
Both guys are going to be super fun to watch all season long. I got a soft spot in my heart for the kind of plays that a guy like Mitchell Melton can make. He jumps right off the field. If you're watching a game and he's out there, and as does Chris, but Mitchell Melton, he's got that. It translates.
Mr. Fantastic, man. Those arms don't quit. That length. You can tell he's put a lot of weight on going into this season.
Yep.
He's going to be a force, and he's going to be someone that we're going to watch on Saturdays for the next 5 years.
Extremely good
after this
now
year.
with a very high ceiling.
Yeah.
That is rare. Mm-hmm. That is rare.
And both of them are going to get better at incredibly good programs in Michigan and Ohio State. So we look forward to seeing those guys. I don't want to leave the Good Counsel game. I guess that'll be our first really intro to entree to the Good Counsel experience. That we want to make sure we have Tim in full getup.
Tim Ready.
Tim Ready. That's right.
We'll see if Coach Stefanelli can get us some old school gear from back in the days. A little leather helmet, maybe a one bar.
Oklahoma's.
I think his wife, a.k.a. your sister, would rather he just wear the Falcon outfit and the action just cover everything up.
You just exposed my whole game plan. Jamie knows everything. We're going to have to come up with something else, Seal.
How about the first league game on the schedule?
That's the first league game on the schedule for our schedule.
For the broadcast schedule.
It's the first WCAC game of our two WCAC opponents. We will, prior to that, I think, we'll be at McNamara.
September 7th, Saturday, Riverdale Baptist at Bishop McNamara.
Coach Lamont Jordan, we talked about that last week. Mm-hmm. We talked about, McNamara is a young program. Kata Malloy is doing a really awesome job culture change. And I know I'm kind of developing a theme, kind of going after making sure we recognize what these coaches are actually doing. And now we have, I want to say it's not the first time ever, but all 5 coaches are coming back, right? Mm-hmm. And I want to say,
well, Bill McGregor's coming back.
No disrespect to Elijah.
Coming back.
Yes. You know what? You look down the list.
He and Elijah. I mean, Elijah played under him, and Coach liked him. So there's not going to be.
No, Elijah's go. It's a new day. But when I see Bill McGregor's name on the list, I don't think new coach. It just doesn't jump off the page at me.
It's still been Bill McGregor's program for the hiatus that he took.
It's a great group of coaches.
Elijah did an awesome job.
He really did, and best of luck to him at Maryland, and hopefully that also helps the pipeline, keeping some of these guys playing.
And Mac, he's going to be doing great with Lolo and every. I mean, WCAC guys at his call, man.
Hey, there's 3 running backs in the Big Ten coming back. That are 3 of the top 5 running backs in the Big Ten. And Anthony McFarland certainly is going to put
all 3 of them are representing
nation.
their school at the Big Ten Media Days.
Yes, exactly, man.
And they're all WCAC guys.
Reggie Corbin from Gonzaga at Illinois is just kicking butt and taking names. Mo Ibrahim, one of Good Counsel's finest ball carriers in the history of the school, has been tearing it up at Minnesota. I mean, we watch him breaking records week in, week out. And then you saw Anthony McFarland, what he did last year against Ohio State. I mean, it was dazzling to the eye. I think the nation got a little glimpse of him. I cannot wait to see the three of them go for about 3,500 to 4,000 this year.
Many people knew Ant Mac had that, and he had,
I saw him in high school.
Broken leg in his senior year. They didn't want to rush him his freshman year. Everybody was worried about whether or not he was doing okay. Was he going to stay? Was he upset? Was he going to?
Yeah.
He put that all to sleep. And the best part is he's out there on Twitter even today, almost every day, going, I can't believe I'm representing my university. I never thought that this would come. I mean, the hunger this kid has is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he got it starting in this league.
How about his shout out and love for us during the championship game last
right.
year? He said, I love those guys.
Join the squad.
Aside from T, I don't know them, but I love those guys, man. I mean, I said, hey, feelings mutual, man. When we put on the TV and you do work,
back on.
That's why we watch guys like that.
Shout out to returning first team all WCAC linebacker Quinn Osborne for Bishop McNamara. I'd like to see a big year out of 3-5.
No, you're gonna see. Listen, you know that jump from junior to senior. He's already a man child.
Yep.
But I can't wait to see what he looks like as a senior.
And he's going to need to get it done. He's going to need to be able to. We saw what happened when he got tired. It affected the entire defense.
Well, and to be fair, he was only tired because he goes 110. He doesn't stop. He's a downhill. Every offensive coordinator that we spoke to, every head coach that called the plays, everyone in charge of an offense in the league, when we talked about Quinn Osborne, they gave the same reaction. Ooh, man,
Look,
that guy can play.
I've been around the game a long time. I've seen great players, and I know what they look like. And he just physically pops out on a football field, and that's very noticeable,
Yep.
And he's backing it up. He'll be fine. He's going to be great. He's starting to get all the recognition he deserves, and he's going to get more.
We aren't going to be at a DeMatha game, but we're going to have DeMatha on our schedule multiple times. We'll have DeMatha at St. John's and at Gonzaga.
For me, personally, that's okay because we didn't have a home field, really. I mean, our home field when I played was Parkdale.
That's right.
The home field has been for a while, I think.
Brian and I play.
Lanham, yeah, you don't like Parkdale.
Who does?
Yeah.
Speaking of great games, right?
McNamara, DeMatha.
Championship back in '92.
Yeah, final minute, 80-yard slant.
77. But that is fine with us.
Yep, yep.
We're fine going other places and taking care of business.
We've talked about this
welcomed
outside.
Coach McGregor back. We got him on the first day back on the job.
I've been texting with him.
We're going to get him back here ASAP.
I got to text him right now.
First
Tell him
night
he
he was
needs to
hired.
be here physically in the basement. He
Yeah,
has
hours.
He came to the show in Bethesda.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 years ago.
He inherits a lot of very, very talented players, both sides of the ball. It's hard for me to say who I'm most looking forward to seeing without my mind going straight to Marshawn. I mean, he's just he could really do something special this year.
He is. And I led off last week with Marshawn
Yep.
because I started with the offense. What I did make a huge mistake of, though, because as good as Marshawn is,
The
a
apology
five-star
tour.
player, the apology tour, I had Keziah Izzard at the top of my list, at the top above my offense that I had grouped. And Keziah, it was my fault, man. I left you out.
As soon as we hit
I gotta
stop
make up
on the
for it.
show, we all were like,
I got to make up for it.
I can't believe you didn't say him.
Deanne going, a Penn State commit.
Yep.
He is without a doubt the 1B with Marshawn in terms of the notable guys on this team that are leaders, that do all the right things, and they got a huge senior year ahead of them. No one having been there, never getting my senior year, but knowing what it felt like and watching my teammates get their senior year, I know they're ready to go. And they are also hungry. I follow them on Twitter, right? That's what I love about these kids, man.
Well, we got to make sure our cameraman, and I love Keziah's game. I just didn't get a chance to say this about Marshawn last week. We got to make sure the camera guys have an exact idea where Mr. Marshawn is at all time, because the filthiest nasty
Zoom out
that you will see in open field with a man holding the ball in his arm this year, I believe, in the open field, would be him. I saw him on the highlights of him at a camp this past week at the opening, I believe, and they did these big drills, unfair to the defense, but they're about 20 yards away, and it's a one-on-one. Not only did the defender not come within 7 yards of him, but he was running the opposite way, followed up by like a triple backflip handspring.
Did you see it?
And when you're 5'9", 206,
hilarious.
and you have muscles coming out of your neck that want a bite to eat, or looking at me like I did something wrong, and you can move like that, South Carolina. I mean, I'm going to tell you what, he'll be the number one Gamecock down there for a while.
Just to set it up real quick for those who didn't see the Twitter video that I saw, it was an Elite 11, right? Were they Elite 11? And two guys I didn't know, but were unbelievable athletes, were going dueling
dueling athleticism,
gymnastics, athleticism, I guess. But it was basically flips, and it started out like standing flips and then back flips, and then they got a little running start. The two were going back and forth, and then out of nowhere, Marshawn just did an unbelievable, I don't know, triple Lindy himself, and it was like, whoa, and that cut he had in the championship game, one of the best I've ever seen.
Well, with that,
and then took it to the house.
I know. The dueling athleticism, if that was a breakdance fight, they would have stopped that before anyone popped and locked. It was over. I mean, you're talking about three freaks athletically, and he was the top dog when it all ended. He ended it. It was over.
Did one.
It was a dance-off.
The other two did a whole bunch for about 5 minutes, and he did one.
I
and everyone was
believe,
like, okay, let's go.
15 years ago, they would have said that they got served because it was finalized.
It was like a dance-off, sort of. You needed one move.
Maybe we'll bring that back, Kevin. Maybe we'll bring it back.
Hey, I'm up for a dance-off in this basement.
It's halftime entertainment.
I am the Just Dance champion of my house.
Congratulations, man.
All right.
I want to kind of make sure that we're on a positive track all the way from now until we're at Gonzaga, DeMatha. Gonzaga hosting DeMatha. It's going to be an awesome day. I just feel it in my bones. Not because of the game that happened last year. I just think it's going to be a cool atmosphere. I like watching football on I Street. I like watching WCAC football on I Street.
Great, unique experience.
It is cool.
It is.
And you're not used to seeing it. I mean, if you've watched football,
I'm going to be honest. When I played there, it was my favorite game. It was my favorite game I ever played because you're in the enemy's territory, right? And they got the best student section, whether you love them or hate them, but they're loud. And they're in your ear, and it's a great environment. Yep. It's an absolutely great environment. It is overflown. It's gotten a little bit bigger with the construction they've had recently. Yep. It's a great experience.
Thank you again to Senor Joe Rada for helping us out, man. He's just been super amazing to us all the time. And
see you at Safeway, bro.
Obviously,
soon.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Me too, bro.
I see him
that's where I see him.
almost like one out of every 3 times I go.
I see Joe Rada and Brian Griffin at Safeway.
By the way, all you out-of-town viewers,
Scribner.
John Scribner.
I will give you the address of this Safeway because apparently it leads to bigger and better things.
Yeah, if you want to play
Johnny Holiday's there all the time.
WCAC.
Holding court in aisle 6.
It might be.
Hang out in the produce section
It's
for
the
like
baddest
5 or
ass
6 hours.
Safeway in the United States of America.
That should be a show. We're coming. Hey, Safeway, if you're out there,
Safeway, we
do not have any food service sponsors yet.
That's a fact.
Yeah, and if you're wanting to know if you might be buying at the wrong time, you might say, you know what, if you're Safeway, you might say, you know what, you're never going to get a game like Gonzaga and Math again. Yeah, Safeway.
Half of Safeway will know it because they saw it or were there.
It's like, it's like a bucket list. People from out of town. Is this the Connecticut Avenue Safeway that leads down the path to the WCAC victories?
Play football in the WCAC. So we're gonna get hyped one day at a time for I Street, and then of course we've even ourselves back through St. John's a number of times, getting to the playoffs. Right, the big game.
Military Road Showdown.
Well, the playoffs depend on what we got. The Gonzaga game.
Gonzaga
at Catholic University before the playoffs.
That's right. But you know, to me,
the game. That's my but yeah,
the positioning in the last couple weeks of the season will determine who's hosting those semifinal games. We got to figure out how that's all going to go down because.
Good luck with that.
We're just. I mean, not so much as predicting who's going to be in what game, but just making sure there's a path to getting it out to the masses. Because we come back the following week with the championship from Catholic, and I think one of the things, as we talk about how we want to cover that game specifically, we're going to learn a whole lot of lessons during the regular season.
It's not all that special to a Stag. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's probably true.
All right.
My brothers played in this game.
My
brothers played in this game. They played in the game. I understand the rivalry. I grew up with it. I'm just joking.
Well, we just I want to
We weren't even
take
talking about
it.
I want to take us up, just take our whole situation up just one level when we get to that game for a second time, because out of respect for the fact that we do expect it to be great.
We'll have to, get on broadcast the whole.
We'll be at Catholic
team.
before that, right? We'll be at Catholic for the
Marching on to
We'll
the
be at
field.
St. John's for St. John's DeMatha. We'll be at Catholic for St. John's Gonzaga.
That's right.
And what I'm guessing, what you're saying here, is that we're going to have temptation-like wardrobes for the championship
Oh,
game?
yeah.
Is that what you're hinting
Without
at?
a doubt.
All right.
Yes.
We're going to have the same moves.
There's going to be a lot
that's
of
going to need to be worked on, but
Listen,
that's
we have
the
a lot of
idea.
time to
That's the
practice.
thought.
Coordinate up in the.
But we have to get it right before then, and I think it does have to involve temptations like outfits. And I also think
I'm David Ruffin. Done.
if you're watching and you think to yourself, man, if these guys are going to do a good council game, they got to talk too. If these guys are going to be at McNamara, man, I hope they get this guy. Or if these guys are going to be at St. John's or in the
join
championship.
us, guys.
Yeah, first of all, show up and hang out with us before the games because we want to make the before the game section of the day fun. We want to make it about the school that's hosting. We want to make it about the schools that are involved. And we want to make it about the WCAC.
And we want alumni from '94 meeting alumni from '06 and alumni from '85 meeting alumni from '99. I mean, we want all that.
That's crazy.
We want to bring everybody together, man.
You just blew my mind.
I mean, that was like
Right?
the DeLorean was
Right?
just doing this and this.
Intertwining.
It was crazy.
We love meeting everyone. We love meeting the
Yes.
parents. We love meeting these kids. I know Seal always has a front row seat to these guys, and you've kind of become part of the culture down there. The kids know when you show up. It's game day. Now the kids know when we're all
big game.
there. It's a big game, man. We're bringing it. That's what we're trying to do.
Is everywhere on this sheet right here.
Yep.
It's going to be fantastic.
We're going to get it out. We're going to make some magnets.
Check out his photos at msealphoto.com.
MCL Photo. Front row seats to every great.
Best photographer in the
Game.
WCAC, bro.
One of
the
them.
area.
I can't take
I
that
think.
No,
claim.
I'm
I
calling
appreciate
you
it.
that.
Well, thank you.
I
Tim
think.
Strachan's favorite photographer. I mean,
Well, I think he's.
can't argue
he's
that.
the
Thanks, Kevin, by the way.
basement photographer, official basement photographer. I mean, I don't know if there's a bigger title in your whole repertoire than that.
I don't know if he
being
wants
honest.
to
That goes right.
pump that
up
one
top.
out.
It's a different LinkedIn page, but
On
it's-
air only.
But
Yes,
my
yes,
favorite
yes.
photographer. That's a fact.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
absolutely. Thank you. I think. Why don't we go ahead and call it a week, guys?
Let me say one thing.
After you say one
this
thing.
is something I've been wanting to get off my chest
right.
a little bit. We do say this is the greatest conference in the country, without a doubt. And you call us biased, I don't give whatever, right? Here's the thing. St. John's' schedule, we talked about it earlier, incredible. They're playing incredible teams. We all hope that they go undefeated, right? DeMatha's playing Bosco in California, with the best number one quarterback in the country. It's
Good
gonna be
Counsel is also
ridiculous.
playing
Good
them.
Council's
Yes.
playing Bosco as well. They're playing Imatep in Pennsylvania, playing St. Ignatius in Cleveland, Ohio. I know Gonzaga's got unbelievable games on their schedule that are
American Heritage.
Shout out to
Plant.
Coach Travers.
that are
Plant.
national. Here's the deal. To those naysayers out there that are telling us that we're wrong because team you pick them beat one of the WCAC teams, and we're not saying they're going to beat everybody. What we're saying is that this is the best conference in the country, not only because they go out and play these national schedules and play great teams, they then have to come home and play a ridiculous 5-week schedule
Run the
against each
gauntlet.
other.
Yep.
And we joke about it, but you want to talk about the toughest schedule in the country, it's McNamara.
Bishop
Because they
McNamara.
got to play four of those other guys who go out and play all those other big guys in the country week after week after week after week after week,
Yep.
right? And that's all we're saying. We're not saying they're going to beat everybody everywhere they go. We hope they do, right? And we're behind all of them, whether they're St. John's, Gonzaga, DeMatha, Good Counsel, McNamara, Riken, whoever you are, right? We're behind you guys because you're WCAC guys.
Yep.
We got your back,
Got your back.
right? You may
You won't
lose
be
a game.
getting- you won't be
may
getting
lose a
kicked out of
game.
any of
That's
our
fine.
parties.
You're still a part of the best conference
Carol Ireton,
in the country.
Connell, all of
I
them.
just want to get off that my
Yeah.
chest because I do hate it when people say the Florida 7A team beat the whoever,
Yeah.
the DeMatha Stags last year, blah blah blah. So they're not the best, and it's like,
Oh yeah, I
know
love
what
I
we're
love the
talking about.
historic. Look, it's any given Saturday.
right,
also.
exactly.
I love
exactly.
that. I love that the Trinity Conference and the WCAC have taken to this plan of action. You know, it's so much fun for the rest of us. And anything can happen. We're going to see. Listen, DeMatha's got McGregor coming back. He hasn't been there in forever. They have to go to Bosco and play the best quarterbacking team in the country. Arguably, you know, they're number one in different polls. St. John's got Mater Dei coming in. You know, that's a tough road trip for a 15, 16, and 17-year-old. So have at it on the message boards. Talk your trash back and forth. But, you know, it's nothing but respect at this point. I mean, look at that schedule. That just reeks of respect for the game, the sport, how it should be scheduled, how it should be done. And that's why we're here, boys.
That's why we're here. That's why we're here this Tuesday. That's why we'll be here next Tuesday night. Until then, he's Matt the Rio Deal Seal.
Indeed, indeed. Get ready for some football, boys.
He's Kevin Ricca.
I love the WCAC, and this is going to be the most exciting, I think, schedule in league history.
In high school sports history.
There you
in
go.
High school football history, at least. I mean, there's just no other. It's impossible for you to tell me that there's been a high school football schedule this good.
It's impossible for me to argue with you right now.
Thank you. I appreciate
got
that.
it.
He's Tim Strachan.
So I got jealous of Kevin for having a tagline
Ooh.
at the end of shows. So I came up with my own, specifically for these guys.
Okay.
Stay grounded, stay rounded, right? We talk about you guys all the time. We praise you for what you can do on a football field. Stay who you are. Remember who you are. Work hard. Go to school. Make the right choices. This is fun to talk about. But stay grounded. Stay rounded.
Till next week, be a good sport. And I feel like I'm round enough.
So am I.
Thank you.
We might need to just maybe we can buy a right angle somewhere along the way. We'll just figure that out. But until then, I'm Ken Marangolo, and this was the WCAC Spectacular. Still live.
Why do you always point at me when you say that?
What's that?
You always point at me.
Nervous. What you're gonna say?
I feel like a cue
Thanks,
ball over
everybody.
here.
Appreciate it. See you next week.